So a 22-year-old at the beginning of their earning in 3 years wants to save enough to live off of for 60 years.
Heavy lifting.
It's not heavy lifting. It's impossible. It's saving more than you make. Today we are reacting to, hopefully this is good. All right, we are reacting to and answering some millennial retirement questions on Reddit. So let's see how the younger generation is tackling the concept of retirement.
I believe retirement is overrated and that society should stop assuming that this is a norm for people. I'm still young and in school, and I already hear about getting your life together in many ways that I totally agree with and understand, except with regards to personal finances, particularly retirement. Obviously, I know it's good to start saving money now for a home, pay down debts ASAP, etc. And it's something I've already started doing given that I am going into business and commerce. The one thing that I keep hearing and do not care about at all is saving for retirement and retirement planning.
Can I say something that's kind of curious? When
Yes,
you're doing 401k plans, you're saving money for yourself.
Yes.
You're kind of getting a little about, I'm saving money for myself. Why? You're just doing it in a specific bucket. And we can talk about that bucket, about either being flexible or not flexible with what you do in that bucket, but it's just like, it's a bucket. The sooner you start, the better it is. It's not the holy grail of all time.
How I'm reading this, how I'm hearing this, is that this person has been led to believe that there is one reason for saving and that there was one definition of retirement. Okay, there is not one reason for saving. There is not one definition of retirement. Our definition of retirement isn't completely in line. And we've been married for a really long time and in business together for a really long time. Yes, we're seeking help for it. Okay, so it's not the simple old, this is not like watching I Love Lucy or something like that from the 50s where you got your gold watch when you're 65, you went and sat on a porch and died, okay? I'm not a real big fan of that idea of retirement either, right? There's different types of retirements. There's different reasons to save. Interesting question number 2.
How badly have I screwed up?
Really badly. No, okay, let's hear the situation.
Okay.
I'm 34, making $70K a year, and have almost $14K in my 401k plan. I got a late start saving and didn't open a 401k until I was 31 due to financial issues. I haven't been contributing for the last year and won't be able to again until June. At this point, I know I'm behind and I'm wondering how much I need to up my contribution to get myself back on track to retire around 65, 67.
First off, I think we need to link him to the video we did on this as to when somebody who's, how old is he? He's 40, no, he's 30. 31. Oh, he's 34. He's got lots of time, okay? He's got a starting point of $14,000. He's got 30 some odd years to go. He's not screwed, okay? We've got a video on this. We can link to that, right, Zach? All right. Is it going to take more than if he'd started when he was 21? Yes, okay. But the important thing here is I'm thinking this is a positive for a couple of reasons. One, he knows he needs to do it. This is different than the other thing we just had a look at. He has a base. Okay, we don't know if the employer's got a match or any employer contributions going into this, but he hasn't taken the 14 grand out and spent it. All right, it's still in the plan, so he's in a really good situation. Number 3, am I going to need more bourbon?
Any tips for 25-year-olds looking to save for retirement? I'd really like to start putting money away for retirement, and I would love some advice. I hear Roth IRAs are good, but I'm not sure how to go about setting one up. I'm a graduate student who receives a meager but reliable stipend, and I could afford to put away $100 to $200 a month. Okay. Any pointers or suggestions would be massively appreciated.
Okay, so we got to be careful about this one because we're not registered investment advisors, but if we're sitting on a bar stool at Starbucks having a cup of coffee or having some bourbon, there's lots of places online to do this. I think they rhyme with WOB and Fidelity, okay, among some other places, right? And but go and open it up. The amounts you're wanting to put away are below any limit that I know about. We don't have to beat the Roth horse to death as they want to go that way, which makes sense because of what they're talking about for income. But these are things that can be taken care of by yourself online. There, companies are making it super, super easy to set these things up online and do it yourself. Lots of free calculators, lots of actually reasonable help now that I'm finding on Reddit. Yeah.
And sometimes there's minimums to start.
Right.
But having 100 to do a month could get you there.
Right.
Look for the vendor that can do it.
Absolutely.
Is 30 too late to start saving for retirement? Due to circumstance, I haven't been able to put away any savings or invest money before now.
Okay.
Is it too late?
Nope.
Can I still catch up?
Yep.
Where do I even begin?
Just
Comments.
start
Yeah, okay,
with a
fine.
percentage, like 2, 3, 4, 5%. Something that you won't miss that
Some-
much out of your paycheck.
Absolutely. Consistency is key. Dollar cost averaging, go look that up. We're not going to go into that. All right. Start now, start small, be consistent, or, I shouldn't say start small because everybody's definition of small is relative. Okay. Start with something that you can continue with, that you feel comfortable about. Make sure you understand what your risk tolerance is. Okay. But we're not going to go through that. There's lots of other places to understand what your risk tolerance is. That'll help you figure out what you're supposed to be investing in. All right. Pay attention to fees and all those other things. But these are definitely things that you can manage yourself online. And of course, if your employer's got a 401k retirement plan, make sure you're contributing as much as you can into that. Pay attention to what you need to do for the match, etc. Right?
Right. So the thing is, the earlier you start, the more options you have and the more time you have to accumulate a balance. But still at 30, you're still relatively young.
If you're trying to retire at age 32, yeah, you're too late. But you didn't say that. So if you're talking about normal ages, 65 or whatever, you're good.
Hardcore retirement advice.
From the 401k couple. Next.
Retirement is overrated.
Yeah, okay, I might know. Okay,
Well,
keep going. Keep going.
I'm a young adult in my late 20s, and I believe that retirement is overrated for multiple reasons.
Okay.
To clarify, I think saving money for a day where you're too ill to work is a good idea.
Yep.
I don't think saving up money for retirement is overrated. This is not the idea I'm disputing. Rather, I think the idea of retirement, as in when you stop working at 65 so you can have free time to do things you want, is overrated. I would rather live my life to the fullest while I'm young rather than wait to actually start living my life when I'm old. I think a more balanced approach of taking sabbaticals every few years to focus on some other projects and goals outside of work sounds a lot more reasonable.
Well, I think that you do agree, Christopher,
Yes.
that the idea of picking an arbitrary age where
Yes.
you do all sorts of deferred gratification till you hit that age,
Mm-hmm.
and do all your fun stuff then is kind of
Right.
is a little crazy. And the
Absolutely.
age 65 came up by Bismarck.
Supposedly.
It's an arbitrary age.
I'm understanding the question to be, I do not want to live an ascetic life like a hermit until I'm 65 and then magically go and start doing things. All right. 100% in agreement. I will not change your view because I agree with you. All right. But and they said it. They want to save for retirement to give themselves flexibility, give themselves options, because you have no idea what's going to happen. This person seems to be wanting to live somewhat of a full life now, but with an eye on what's going to their needs are going to be in the future. Okay, I don't feel the need to change this person's view.
21-year-old, should I pay into my pension? I've just accepted a job as a 21-year-old on a salary of $30K.
30,000 pounds, all right.
On my offer letter, the employer mentioned that they asked me if I wanted to be enrolled in their Royal London pension scheme. I don't know much about pensions, and the thought of retirement seems like a long way off, obviously. Generally, I understand that paying into your pension is a good idea, but is it advised that I do so at such a young age? What benefit would paying into my pension now be?
So if I may translate from English into American, in this context, scheme is not a bad thing, because I understand most times Americans use the word scheme. It has a negative connotation. In this context, with Europeans using the word scheme, it has a positive connotation. It is not a negative. Okay, so The things we don't know about are fees and investment options and things like that. However, from what we know about from our friends who live in Europe, more money, more better, okay? So the thing that you get when you're 21 is our friend compound interest, okay? If you're...
Sometimes it's a better plan that you got it when you're 21 to what they dilute it to by the time you're 60.
Exactly, okay?
Sometimes the grandfathering part of it is the best part.
Right, so if you're earning X percent over 45 years, you're going to have more money than if you put more money in later, okay, for 10 years. I mean, go and look at our...
Didn't your dad get a small amount of money from England for some of the work he put in?
Yeah,
really
my dad
early?
even got... Yeah, my dad had been in England for 60 some odd years, and yeah,
he was getting a small amount of money
right.
for... So it's interesting that those little bits of money, in fact, my dad gets something from a certain teachers organization that he worked at when he was like in his late 20s. So sometimes that little bit of money actually can mean something to you, and over a long lifetime it can actually, it makes a difference.
So with the understanding or the caveat or whatever you want to call it, that fees are reasonable and investment options are reasonable, yes, do it. Very simple, because compound interest. All right, do we have
One more.
All right, one more.
For those who retired in their early to late 20s, how'd you do it? Been trying to figure out the most optimal way to do it. Any tips would be much appreciated. I'm currently 22 and my goal is to retire by my mid to late 20s.
Well, the people who
This
do
is a real question?
yes, it's the fire people, love. It's
That's
fire.
3
That
years?
sounds crazy.
Okay, so people who have like a brutally good understanding of the costs, their costs, and what it costs to do things, their budget, can find ways to budget enough based off of how much money they have and hopefully live their whole lives. But I don't know if they're
Okay,
living
so a
on-
22-year-old at the beginning of their earning
right.
in 3 years wants to save enough to live off of for 60 years.
Heavy lifting.
What are they going to save? 150% of their income? No, serious. Okay. This is the one.
Maybe if you find the right ashram.
I
don't
well,
know.
no. I
Maybe
mean, this is what was the stock in 2020? What was where you go and sell your games and buy your games? GameStop. Okay.
Shoot for the moon.
So you're 3 years too late. You needed to guess right on GameStop and Dogecoin and Bitcoin. Okay, and then you might have been able to do it, but to save. How do you save 150% of your income for 3 years?
Well, I don't even know what the person is thinking retirement is in your mid-20s.
Well,
what's that? Like
I'm-
you're traveling
I'm-
everywhere? You're
Is retire by my mid to late 20s. What does that mean? So I did you throw this in? Did you make this up to see if we'd bite? I mean, Zach, is this a real question? Okay, it's.
Well, the person convinced me if I'm wrong needs to go at it with this
Change
person.
my view. This needs to
Change
be
my
under
view.
CMV. Change my view. Okay. So, okay, I understand. We've just had a really nice long weekend. I understand the joy of not working. Okay. But mid to late 20s, we don't know unless this person's terminally ill. Okay. You've got what, 50-year lifespan? Okay. In
More than that.
more than that, 3 or 4 years to save up enough money to retire, because you're not going to get anything from Social Security. I don't know that you're going to
Ever.
get anything from Medicare ever. Okay, you've got no Medicare, you got no Social Security. Okay, so you're 100% completely on
Self-funded.
your own. Where you're going to save up enough money to pay for your medical forever. I mean, even the 4%. No, I mean, what?
Getting married, having kids.
Yeah, well, none of that. No, there's no fun. There's no alcohol. There's no nothing. There's no food. I just don't. I don't know how you can do this in 3 years.
It's a lot of heavy lifting. But
No, it's not heavy lifting. It's impossible. It's saving more than you make.
well, I think part of it is what your lifestyle's like in your 20s is different than your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s.
Okay.
I'd say
So
what
if they're let's say they're making $100,000. Okay. So we got $100,000 for 4 years. That's $400,000.
if you
Okay.
don't spend anything.
If you don't spend anything, And you have no tax, no nothing. This is saving 100% of your compensation. Okay, so 4 years, that's $400,000. Okay, so let's make it $500,000. What's 4% of $500,000? That's 20 grand.
Yeah.
You can't do anything.
That's where do you live and eat for 20 grand?
Groceries alone.
No, I mean, yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm not this. No, I am the poster child for Debbie Downer. This is
A
Christopher
couple
and
of
Catherine. We
401ks.
are the 401 couple. All right. Now, if you like this video, please keep those cards and letters coming. We'd love to hear more from you. We'd love to continue communicating with you, continuing this conversation. All right. Like, subscribe. You know all that other stuff. All right. Take care. Thanks for watching.
Toodaloo.